It's the Daily Apple Dispatch for July 9th, 2024. Maps for Dummies.
Do we believe?
And tonight it's an article from Ian Boast. I think that's how his name is pronounced. And it was written for The Atlantic. And it's called Why Apple and Google Can't Stop Mansplaining to Users. Ian writes, as a hamburger enthusiast, I often need directions to some burger joint I've never tried. Recently, my phone's instructions sent me toward the on-ramp for the interstate. Then the map urged me in 500 feet to merge onto the freeway. By that time, though, what else could I have done? Did the map imagine I might get confused and turn around instead? Mapping software is incredible. Having instant access to every storefront, building, park, transit stop on every street almost anywhere in the world has changed my life as much as any other single innovation of the cell phone age. But also, mapping software is a little weird. Seemingly random places show up as landmarks in my neighborhood, a Bitcoin ATM, a nearby hotel I'll never stay at, and when I need directions, my app likes to tell me things that no one ever needs to know, such as when to merge onto a freeway from an on-ramp. Why is it so obtuse? Or perhaps the better question is, what makes the software think that I'm obtuse? Okay, well, the article continues with a pretty good explanation of how Google and Apple Maps work and gives some examples of just how those programs can go to insane lengths in telling you what to do next. And I don't disagree with that at all. The number of times leading up to a turn or a decision tree trying to get from point A to point B is very annoying. Yes, I get that you want me to turn at the next light onto South Street and that I should be in the right lane and that it is 200 yards away, then 100 yards away, then right away. I understand. And I'll make that turn unless there's a different way I know about that's better. Sometimes I use these navigation apps to just try and avoid traffic or to be sure that where I'm going and the route that I'm going to take is usually the best way to go. There's all kinds of reasons to plug in a destination, even if you've been there before or know where it is. Eventually, we'll get to that destination that I entered in Apple Maps or Google Maps or Waze, because generally, I know where I'm going. Until I don't. Because the bigger use case is going to places that maybe you haven't been before or aren't entirely sure how to get there. I appreciate the extra help, even if I get annoyed at the way the app speaks to me or maybe at me. So why does it do it? Because not everyone knows how to read maps or are so busy watching the road, say in bad weather or terrible road glare, that those extra instructions can come in quite handy. Remember as well some of the claims of navigation apps that were telling people to steer left or steer right at the wrong time and then driving up a curb or into a lake. These are bad things to happen. Unless you're in dense fog or in a torrential downpour, you should be driving and paying attention enough to know that you just turned toward a body of water. These apps also have no idea what the local driving conditions are like yet. And as such, don't realize that an early turn will result in a disaster. Why? Because they can't and shouldn't be expected to. At the end of the day, it's the person behind the wheel that needs to take responsibility for actually driving the car and should be aware of local conditions and drive accordingly. There's lots of bad drivers out there, so the number one rule should be pay attention to what you're doing while behind the wheel of a 2-ton mass of metal and plastic with lots of potential for disaster. Too many people do not, or don't care. Don't be one of those people. Meanwhile, slight annoyance at overly repeated instructions seems like a small price to pay for what you get. Instantly knowing what the best possible route is, where the police might be along the way, where the construction zones are, and any other road issues without having to do much of anything other than putting in a destination. If you'd like to contact me, you can do so by sending me an email to guy@mymac.com. I'm on X, Twitters as MacParrot, Instagram and Threads as VertShark. And remember, you can also call our number, 703-828-4677. Use the U.S. country code if necessary, and some charges may apply. For the Daily Apple Dispatch, I'm Guy Searle. Good night.